Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everyone joining us from across Africa and beyond. Welcome to SECREV 2025 African section. My name is Frank Bazuaye. I'm joining you from Lagos, Nigeria. I'm the founder of LiveGig Limited. LiveGig Limited is the co-organizer of SECREV 2025. We are a tech company committed to developing AI-powered solutions, chatbot, and image generation applications. Today's theme is especially timely and critical. Aftermath of a cyber best practices, incident and digital evidence collection. We are seeing cyber attacks grow more frequent and sophisticated, and how we respond makes all the difference. I'm honored to co-host this section with an accomplished cybersecurity professional, Olabimpe Adeloro, who is also a speaker today. She brings deep insight into cybersecurity. She is the CEO and lead trainer, Mobile Cyber Safety Nexus, Cybersecurity and Data Protection Specialist, CompTIA and Cisco certified instructor, a cyber workforce developer, author of Encrypted Hearts. Olabimpe, please, over to you.
Wow, thank you very much for the introduction. Thank you so much, Frank. It's a pleasure to do this with you. It's nice to know that this program has been ongoing for like 8 years now, and doing it with you for the first time is amazing. Thank you very much for the invite. Thanks to the organizers. We need to do this round the earth. We need to do this globally, you know. So thank you very much for having me. So like you said, yes, my name is Olabimpe Adeloro, you know, popularly known as Cyber Police. So it's good to co-host this event with you for Africa. You know, for me, it's an honor, Frank, to be picked as Africans to represent this great continent on this program. So thank you very much for having me. And it's good to know that we are not alone. It's not just you and I that will be doing this. We have other amazing men with us, and we call on them now. Let them tell our listeners a little bit about themselves. Then we go right in, we dive right in. So to the right, I don't know how you are seeing the screen, but to my right of the screen, I have Mawuko Kpatah, and to the left, I have Adewale Mustapha. So Mawuko, do you mind telling our listeners a little bit about you?
Thank you so much, viewers from all over the world. My name again is Mawuko Kpatah, a cybersecurity professional and co-founder of Mawuko IT Securities. Yeah, I'm very passionate about education and in cybersecurity, precisely, awareness training and skill development. So in Ghana here, I champion a course of training Ghanaians and beyond the borders of Ghana, which is now in a full force extending to the world. It's great to meet you all. Thank you so much.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you for joining us. Just like me, Mawuko is joining this live event and being a speaker on this event for the first time. And I hope it won't be the last. I hope when we call on you again, you will answer us, right? Mawuko, will you?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome, awesome. So the gentleman to my left for my screen is called Adewale Mustapha. He's a man that is very dear to the industry, making impact. So Adewale, can you please tell our listeners who you are?
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. My name is Adewale Mustapha. I've been a cybersecurity engineer for a couple of years. I've gained some hands-on experience, and currently I practice as a cybersecurity application security engineer. I have been able to also train students across USA, Canada, UK, and I've also been a co-founder. My passion is because I mentor. I love to add knowledge. So I believe in turning ideas into solutions. So yes, it's really a privilege to join you here this morning or whatever time frame it is, wherever you are. So thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. It's good to have you. And the last but not the least on our panel this morning, I mean, it's morning for us in Nigeria. I know it might not be so for some of you outside Africa, but in Africa, it's morning for us. Is another gentleman doing amazingly well, doing so great in the industry. Ato Samson, do you mind telling our listeners who you are? Just a little bit about, I know if you begin to tell us everything about yourself, the time will not be enough for us. So can you just tell us briefly about yourself?
Yes. As you mentioned, my name is Ato Samson Nympha. I've been with the industry for a long time.
Can you help us a little bit more with your audio? If you want to move closer to
do you hear me
device.
now?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I've been with the industry for a long time. I started with a little bit of IT long time ago, 2002 or something like that. You know, when Windows 7 came out. So I've been around, shifted to cybersecurity, and I met Frank, you know, on a journey, you know, helping another African based website, ADDI. We built a lot of policies and regulations for them together, and I've been doing in and out of some consultations. Soon I will be registering my cybersecurity consultancy agency. I'm currently with the forest fire control and still doing access control in the forest fire. So I'm bringing my cybersecurity into the into other aspect of the world. So I'm very honored to be invited here. To
Amazing. Amazing. It's a pleasure to meet you. It's a pleasure to have you. And you see, that's one beautiful thing about Africans. It does not matter whether we are home or abroad, because at the moment, Samson is not on the shore of Africa, you know. He's one of our sons outside Africa, but doing great for Africa. Thank you, Samson, for representing us well out there. Please keep doing what you are doing, and we can't wait to see the gem you guys have for us today. I mean, I need to take some water, Frank. Let me give you the mic now while I grab some water.
All right. So I would like to, can we call author for the first presentation?
That's okay. Nice. Ato, I mean, I'm sure you are very ready. I mean, everything is set. So I know you are one of you are our first presenter for this event. And so over to you now. Let's have you.
All right. I'm gonna go straight to sharing my screen. If let me see.
Please do that.
Yeah, and then we'll take it from there. Okay.
So as you are sharing your screen, I would like to let our listeners around the world, please, as these presenters, the speakers are speaking, please keep your questions popping in, your contribution, your comment. We want to make this event conversational, okay? So please, let's have your comments, let's have your questions. I mean, these are experts you're seeing on your screen. So please feel free to ask us your questions. Just put it in the chats and we will relay it to each of these speakers, okay? All right, I can see your screen now, Ato. Do you want to put it in presentation mode, or is this okay for you?
Yeah, there was the template that was given to me was a little stubborn here, but let's see.
If you're comfortable with this, that's fine. I'm only
saying
that
yeah,
if you want to put it in presentation mode, that would be nice.
Okay, all right. So since we have a little time, let's jump into a few things here. Yeah. So I'm hearing some background.
Please, Frank, if you can temporarily mute your mic for us, please. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, so these are some of the very few things, you know, I had to cut down a lot of stuff because cybersecurity is very broad and we have limited time. So these are some of the few things that I have to put in. And then my topic was, you know, impacts of, you know, cybersecurity attack, the aftermath. Well, so we have what it can do immediately here. As we can see, it's, you know, it goes with the operational disruption, which is probably the first thing that will happen. When we say operational disruptions, what does it mean? I put a little meaning here, a little bit here. You know, the systems may be locked by the ransomware because the ransomware, we understand, you know, what a ransomware is. They have already gotten hold of your system. Although that you own the system, they have found out a loophole and then they are using it against you. It could be, hey, we have information, we have this, we're going to stop your services if you don't give us $2 million by Friday. They are in control. So what are you going to do about it? Okay. After they have done whatever, maybe you give them money, you don't give them money, you're going to call the police, you're going to call here, FBI, all the agencies that are involved. What is going to happen? You know, data interruptions. Now, it's also with the ransomware, they also have access to intentionally corrupt your data. They can take you offline. It happened on one of the airports recently. So these are some of the things that can happen. We have the data breach, sensitive information, customer data, intellectual property, financial records, which is still under HIPAA. I did not put HIPAA here because, you know, of the time, but HIPAA is also a very broad topic that we can have for hours. Now, people's information, you know, financial records. If I have 3 million in my account or in your stocks, whatever, I don't want anybody to see. You know, I might have enemies somewhere that can use it against me. But when we have this kind of cyber attacks, this information could be sold into the black market. I could be blackmailed just because of this kind of breach. But meanwhile, I trusted the company. Let's say Frank's company. I trusted Frank, so I came to do some financial stuff with him, and then now I'm out there. That is another cyber attack that can happen. And then after that, you will have big problems. And these are some of the problems that is coming up. Financial losses. Costs include the ransom payment that I mentioned earlier. Recovery effort. It's one of the biggest financial inputs that you could ever have. You have to call in experts. You have to call in your IT group. You have to call in your cybersecurity group, third party, and you might probably have to call the media too. So, and all these will cost you money. The overtime alone with the IT guys, the overtime alone with the detectives, the investigations, it's enormous. You can run into millions. Like I mentioned also with the HIPAA and other government agencies that regulate cyber businesses, they can also fine you. Oh, this is the loophole. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. $5,000 for just not even updating your system, or $200,000 for not doing continuous education with your staff. It's not a joke. It's something that you don't need to play around. That I believe that's why cybersecurity guys are being paid more than $80,000 now here just because of all these. You could also affect your reputation, because you might be maybe one of the biggest financial groups, financial this, agency that, and this has happened to you. You are already popular. People are already coming into you, knocking on your door. They've heard about you. They know about you. They've seen you on TV. So when you have a cyber breach, when you have a cyber attack, after they've put you offline, they've corrupted your data, everybody's going to hear about it. You need to tell somebody. Somebody will tell somebody. You need, if all the board of directors, third party vendors, you need to find a way to tell them. The media is going to come, all type of TVs. Now we have news, TikTok. They are going to rush into the area. They want to talk to you, and news spread like wildfire. And this is where your reputation goes down. And then immediately you will see FBI knocking on your door, because they have people's financial records that has been exposed. You need to answer to all those. You need to find your lawyers, pay them extra, let them stay at the office, going through the logs, finding out what happened, finding out what could have been done, prevented in the future. What will you do to stop this issue? On and on and on. So by doing all these, your reputation will be in the mud. But how you're going to come back is going to be based on you know, how you're gonna present yourself. Okay, are you gonna lie about it? Are you gonna hide some information, or you're gonna come out and say, hey, yes, we've been breached, but this and that and this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do to protect ourselves. So coming back, you should come back on your feet with a serious grand style, better packages, you know, like how are you going to scan your systems? If you were doing it maybe every 12 months, now you're going to bring it like, you know, every night. It depends on how the regulations can allow, or the company policies can also allow you. We're going to go to the legal regulations. You know, I've already mentioned that, you know, with the reputation damage, you know, with a non-compliance with the GDPR and the CCPA or other law that can result in a hefty fines. You're going to go through board of directors here. You could, oh, the phone calls. You might get some insult. So these are all some of the aftermath of the cyber attack. You know, you will get like good people or big men, if I should say, can say, oh no, I'm not gonna deal with you again. I'm gonna tell all my friends, you know, maybe they are all billionaires. They are using your services, you know, for data privacy. They are all out there. You've lost serious client. So you have to find out how you're gonna come back. This is another going on a second short-term response. I call it, you know, short-term. So you're gonna have to contain the attack. You know, isolate the affected system to prevent further spread. There's something called a honeypot. You know, honeypot. I want everybody to go look for it. I'm not going to spread the news here. Or standalone system. The standalone system is usually kind of offline. It's very hard to get into and then attack it. People usually use these kind of systems, the standalone system, for recovery. It's kind of like your backup system rebooting, like the cloud management, but it's not online. It's offline cloud management. Or it could be a whole server with the biggest hard drive ever. You put everything you do, you put it in there, you update it, you put it there, but it's offline, standalone system. You're going to access the damage. This is where your heart will pump. If, let's say, you have 3 million clients or customers, and 2 million out of the 3 have been affected, you're going to have to answer to the 2 million. So you assess the damage. What is it going to do? What has it done to your system? Do you have to buy a new system? Do you have to upgrade? Do you have to get a resilient system upgrading? Do you have to make 3 authentications to each person now instead of 1 or 2? You're gonna have to boot up at least your passwords. It's a long list. Assessing the damage alone can take a month or 2, depending. Some can take 3 days, 4 days, 1 week. Doesn't matter. You've been breached. You need to assess the damage. And it can cost, it can even corrupt your system or bankrupt your whole company. engage in incident response team. I mentioned it already. You're going to call the IT. You're going to call the cyber security expert. Then they will help with the investigation. There could be, and then there must be or will be, a different group of investigators that can come in that is not even from your company. Then you start your mitigation, assess the mitigation damage, and then take it from there. You notify the authorities, the stakeholders. That is where the whole world will hear about you and your weaknesses. You have to report to the regulators. Some companies know. I've come across some company, if it doesn't affect over 500 customers, you don't need to. Things change. Some will say I have to. Some will say no. It all depends, on the state, on the area, the company, the regulations, what even HIPAA says. You got to go through all that to be able to do that. So you have to stand on if you're going to report it or you're not going to report it, depending on the policies or regulations. You're also going to inform the customers, mentioned it already, and partners if their data was compromised. That's why I mentioned that some might be affected, some will be affected. What is the policy? Do you tell the people that it was not even affected, or you don't? You got to talk about it, that one too. This is where you will be sweating. Restoring of systems. Usually, I mentioned this earlier on, use clean backups to recover data. So the clean backups is the standalone system that I was saying, the honeypot. It's somewhere else. Nobody has touched it unless it's internal. The only person that can leak that information is going to come from internal, or the people that worked on the system.
Pardon my interruption, Samson.
Yes. Yes.
Some questions are popping up. Let me just ask you these questions so that you can incorporate them in your presentation. Okay, is that okay by you?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
I was just rushing because of the time.
Yes, I know, right? I know we can be here for 24. These 2 hours, we have to tell these guys, these 2 hours is not enough, right? I know. Now,
yes.
a listener asked this question, saying from a technical perspective, what are the critical first steps an organization should take post cyber attack to secure their system and prevent further damage, while also addressing financial and legal repercussions? I don't know if you get that. Talking about.
Could you repeat that?
So from technical perspective, now as as a cybersecurity specialist, so talking about technical perspective, what are the critical first steps, not just steps, but critical first steps that an organization should take after an attack? That's post incident, right? So what are those steps they should take so that they can secure their system so as to prevent further damage, while also addressing financial and legal repercussions? This is like a 3-in-1 question. So you want to do something after an attack. We don't want an attack to take place, but now there is an attack. So what are the steps to take while you consider the legal and financial repercussions?
You may want to, first of all, I think I said it's still here. you contain the attack. Okay, that's a critical first step, because if not, you will still be, because if I'm able to hack you or Frank, I'm not the only person. It's a group, it's a whole market. There are hackers that, like we're doing right now. I can also have a Zoom meeting. Hey, I just attacked Frank. This is the thing, this is the code, this is the loophole. I saw one like maybe port 88. It's also open. Then I'll give it to Mawuko. Okay. Then Mawuko will also, bang Frank. Hey Frank, this is the group. Yeah, we need $2 million before we can do this for you, or we're gonna corrupt your file. And then you are, I'm already been attacked by Acto. No, they are in cahoots. You know what I mean? So you isolate the problem first. You pull it aside. They say, hey, port 88 is this thing. Your password are weak. Immediately. You start recovering that. You start creating very stringent password. I used to hate password. I mean, to be very honest with you, I know if you have password on my computer right now, it's a bad practice. Somebody get hold of it. Everything here is out there. Okay, so that is the first thing you need to do, and doing that will prevent you or will help you financially, because then you don't have to go into more debt of sending in more guru cyber experts, FBI, all that to come in and say, hey, look at this magnitude of damage that has been caused. So when you isolate these, you may have like maybe 10% of your system already breached.
Awesome. I think we got that. I think we got that. So you isolate the attack. Fine. So is there any other steps you can just quickly let us know?
You can shut down the system.
Oh, nice.
Yes. You have to shut down the system like the airports did. Right here in my face. You shut down, you cancel all flights.
After all, when I'm not out there, then there is nothing to further attack, right?
No.
That makes sense. Sure. That makes sense.
Yes, and then just people.
Very good.
You shutting the system down.
Awesome.
And then So
then I have another question just coming up now.
Yes.
Can you quickly just attend to this? I hope you can do this for me in like 30 seconds. It says,
can you share the time.
a real world example of how a cyber attack caused significant operational disruption and reputational damage for an organization, and what key lessons were learned in the recovery? So now talking about real life scenario, what happened? How did they how did they resolve it? Maybe like 30 seconds.
Okay, so let's just stay with the airport stuff. Okay, I'm not going to mention the flight name. We're going to say Frank Airport. Okay, so this is what happened. It was a busy airport. Everybody was going there. People had business. People had weddings. People had funerals. People had this. This happened. So flights were delayed. But inside, behind the scenes, they were canceled. But on the screen, it's delayed. Why? Because there was this ransomware going on. On my screen, I don't know if my screen is still sharing. On my screen, you can see the monies here that has been happening here. But this is not even the airport issue. But because of my 30 seconds, that's why I'm putting it in there. As you listen, you can also read. There are billions that are going on here. The government scrutiny alone could cost you $5 million. So to avoid all these things, there's something called patching. When you patch in your system, you need to do it properly. When you want to test your system, You don't do the live testing whilst people are over there. You isolate it and test it. There's going to be a loophole. Maybe I'll come to Mawuko, and then we can create a system and try to test the system. Then we can find the loopholes, fix it. That's called a patching, and then bring it back to the airport. Bring it with a resilience of quality security system. That yes, that may not cause that a lot of problems like that. So continuous education is part of the you know, how to, you know, come back. You know what I mean? So I don't know if my time is up, but yeah. So in general, when this happens, you isolate, you fix it immediately by all cost.
Yeah.
By all costs, put the people back online. 24 hours, you back online, planes are flying.
Very good. Because I mean, the business, there must be business continuity, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So we can't wait to do this again with you. Thank you very much for your insights. We've seen what we should do with the aftermath of a cyber attack. You know, we know that will always be an attack. We don't want it to happen, but we know that it will always happen again and again. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for walking us through what we should do when it comes to business, technical or legal impacts, you know, how this impacts us and what measures we should take so that we go back to business while we don't, you know, flout the laws. Thank you so much.
Right.
It's a pleasure having you. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice.
Well, that was great. That was great. Thanks a lot, Samson.
Okay, I'm going to give you back the screen.
Yes, please. Olabimpe, you know, you're also co-hosting, also presenting.
Okay.
And your topic.
I like to listen to her.
She's nice. Your topic is understanding.
Frank likes adding work to my work. I don't know how I will be co-hosting and I will be speaking. Come on.
Frank is you like that.
Excuse me.
Okay.
All right.
I have a lot of stuff to want to hear. Your topic is
well, I can't hear Frank again.
Yes, I've introduced you. The floor is yours. And
please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes.
You can. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much. Once again, now I'm coming as a speaker, not as a host. Okay. I hope I will not disappoint you guys. I will try my best. Okay. You know, just like Frank had earlier said, and thank you very much, Frank, for the earlier warm introduction. My name remains the same, no change, Olabimpe Adeloro, and it's a pleasure to be part of this unique event. You know, talking about aftermath of cyber attack, best practices for incident response and digital evidence. I mean, we cannot overemphasize this. Today, guys, I will be walking you through the evolving nature of cyber attack, how they are changing, what tools and tactics attackers are using, and what means of response we should take, and how this can affect digital forensic. Because, I mean, we just need to know how to defend ourselves. If you don't know how somebody is attacking you, there's no way you can know how to defend yourself. And that's why I'm in love with the topic that these organizers gave to me, understanding modern cyber attack, trend, tools, and techniques. But before we go into that, let me tell you why I am in this business. Why am I in cybersecurity? What is my mission? It is simple. The focus of us in mobile, because like Frank said, I'm a founder, and in mobile, I'm a founder of Mobile Cyber Safety Nexus Academy. In this academy and in our organization at large, our mission is to reduce the success rate of criminals. We know we cannot eliminate it, but we want to reduce their success rate. And how do we accomplish this? Well, we approach it through multiple angles. And as you can see on the screen, all we do is consulting services, education, presentation, social media awareness, research, and public speaking. I'm a born public speaker. I love to talk to people about how they can protect themselves. And that is what my organization is focused on. Now, you can imagine, you may wonder, so why do we need to understand attack? Let me just protect myself and go. What is my strength about understanding attack? Well, it will interest you to know that to respond to an incident effectively, we must first understand how modern attacks work, because you cannot protect against what you don't know. Why are people so much attacked today? Because they don't even know somebody is behind them. They don't know how they are looking for them. So because of that, they fall vulnerable. So hence, we are saying that please know the attacks. You must have that understanding of the attack. Because guys, we are no longer dealing with lone hackers just in a basement. No. These days, we are dealing with highly organized groups. They are using advanced tools. And when they are striking, they are not striking lackadaisically. No, they are striking like very quickly and quietly. You might not even be aware of it. I'm glad Samson mentioned a little bit about this in his presentation. An attacker can be there in your organization and you are not even aware that is there. So when you have an understanding that somebody might be attacking you, might be in your organization without your awareness, then you want to be proactive. So the better we understand the measures, the techniques, the tools that these guys use, the better we can respond to attacks. We've seen the rise of ransomware as a service where criminals lease attack kits to others. I mean, those days, it might be a challenge for an individual to launch a ransomware attack. But not anymore, guys. No, 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 no. You have already made kits that you can just get to the market, you buy, and you launch a ransomware attack. And unfortunately, AI is being weaponized to craft better phishing and evade detection. I mean, that is like a minus to us in the industry, but it's good to be aware of this. So instead of targeting companies directly, nowadays, what attackers will do is to go through trusted third parties. So you can be thinking about your vulnerability via your software suppliers, via your cloud vendors. So you will agree with me that we need to stay ahead of this curve. There is nothing we can do. So that is why you must pay attention to the landscape that attackers are employing. Now, who are your attackers? In cybersecurity, I'm trying to be as plain as possible because I know it's not everybody in cybersecurity that will be watching us this morning. So we have what we call attack vectors. Attack vectors are just those mediums in which you are attacked from. So you have your phishing and All other forms of phishing, spear phishing is one of them. You have your DDoS attack, which is distributed denial of service attack. You have your credential stuffing. You have zero-day exploits. It will interest you guys to know that phishing remains #1 way attackers get you. But it is not just limited to phishing. So beyond email, we are seeing credential stuffing. That is, these attackers use your leaked credentials, maybe from past breaches or from exploits, from vulnerabilities that are exploited, you know, and they launch an attack against you. These are often combined for maximum damage. So please, in your efforts to mitigate this attack, don't just focus on one, because attackers combine their efforts. They can combine phishing with DDoS, they can combine DDoS with zero-day exploit, they can combine it with, you know, because their target is just to get you and get you. Okay, so once you know that, you want, you know, to make sure that you don't want to be gotten. Now I've been talking for past minutes. Some that are not in cybersecurity industry might be wondering, what is she talking about? What is she saying? Is it up to that? Is it that serious? Well, it will interest you to know that we have case studies. We have real-world examples. The Colonial Pipeline attack was due to a single leaked password. Just one leaked password. You can check that out. You know, due to time, we may not be able to take much on this explanation. But just check it out online. Colonial Pipeline attack. This attack came up in 2021. How about the SolarWind? It was a sophisticated supply chain compromise. It was massive. It was massive. And the compromise came just because of their supply chain. That attack came up, happened in 2020. And unfortunately, just 2023, we had another attack called the MGM result. The MGM result came as a result of a LinkedIn chat with an IT support that tricked them into giving access. So guys, you can see from these 3 cases that breaches can come from both humans and technical flaws. So that is why we are saying, please don't just focus on one. It can be this or that. Hence, it's good for you to be aware. We call it cyber awareness. Now, have you ever wondered why somebody would be interested in just destroying your data or ruining your data or grabbing your data or making your data immobile? Why would somebody on earth ever be doing that? Well, it's because of some basic motives of cyber attackers. A financially driven attacker might just want to encrypt your file. All he needs is just that money. He's not after anything. Not that he knows you, not that he is after you. All he wants is money. And the only way he can get money is by grabbing your data, unfortunately. In some cases, it may not be for financial gain. A nation state wants your secrets and might stay hidden for months. For months, rather. So, can you imagine that? You mean a government can be an attacker? Oh, yes. Check the news. For the sake of time, I will not mention example at this moment, but you can check. We call it espionage. So, and a nation can be attacking another nation in the cyber world just to paralyze the system. And some might not be financial gain, it might not be for espionage. Then we have who we call activists. So their attack is called activism. Just the way you have activists on ground that are just bothered about political or social disturbances around, and they just want to make their grievance known. Yes, some attackers are like that too. They can go online, you know, it could be for political reason, it could be for social reform, and they just disrupt the activity. You can have this political party doing it against this other political party. You know, some activists can be attacking even an entire government. They go to a government website and they just want to shut it down just to make their grievance known. And don't forget, one of the worst kind of threat actors we have are insider threat actors. They already have access to everything that the organization owns. Okay? So that makes it harder for you to detect them. So from inside, this one can be damaging your organization, your business, your enterprise. So those are a few reasons. Time will permit me to mention why somebody will be after your data or that of your company or that of your government. Now, what is the impact? What is the implication when it comes to incident response? If we know the attack vector and the likely motive of these attack vectors, then we can respond fast and smart. For example, if it is a ransomware attack, you know, you can isolate the system very fast. You can remove the system from the network. If it is espionage, then you can preserve the digital evidence before alerting the attacker. You will believe, or you will agree with me that knowledge truly is power when it comes to incident response. What have we talked about? Don't forget, I've walked you through what happens, why we have attack, and how attacks take place. We mentioned some examples of a cyber attack, of cyber attacks. And please, I will implore you to research more about these attacks and others. What will be my final thoughts? Please stay active. Attackers evolve every day. So you are expected to evolve too. The method they used yesteryear is not what they are using today. So please step up your game. Stay proactive by studying new threats, practicing incident response, and training our people is our best defense. So if you are a business owner, don't be too stingy to train. Don't be too stingy to educate those that are managing your business. Don't wait for the breach to learn the lessons. Let's learn from past breaches. I will always say this: if you think it can happen to you, you might just be the next victim. Please, I don't want that to be your lot. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to me. If you would like to connect with me, if you like to collaborate, or you have questions, feel free to, let me know. Now, Frank has shut me off. I can't see the comment section. I can't, it has shut me up. So I don't know, in case there are questions, I'll be more than willing to take them. But if you need to contact me, you can just screenshot the slide on the screen at the moment. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can go to my company's website, Mobile Cyber Safety Nexus. You can send me an email at adeloro@mobilecybersafety.com. I will want us to take our relationship further than this. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now I will yield the mic to you, Frank.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Adeloro. Thanks a lot for that insightful presentation. Yes, I've got a lot of questions from audience. Because of time, I just pick some. And let me ask the first question I've jotted down. One is, how has the rise of ransomware as a service and AI-powered attacks changed the cyber threat landscape?
Wow.
What new challenges do these trends pose for organizations? That was, did you get the question?
I think I do. I think I do. Can you call me again, most especially with the final parts, please?
Yes, I got a lot of, I jotted one. How has the rise of ransomware as a service and AI-powered attack changed the cyber threat landscape? You know, and what new challenges do these trends, you know, pose for organization? Because like you mentioned, AI is a threat. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got the question. You see, the emergence of ransomware has drastically lowered the entry barrier for cyber criminals. Unfortunately so. You know, those days, like I said in my presentation, it was, you know, a little bit challenging. If you don't have an idea, you know, there's nothing you can do about it. You just let it be. But these days, because you have ready-made products, you have tools, so anybody can just wake up, PM, and launch. And, you know, AI power attack have also enabled threat actors to automate tasks like social engineering, like what's this one called? Malware evasion, like vulnerability discovery. So, you know, because you have ransomware as a service, it makes some of these things that used to be very difficult now very easy, making people and organizations and governments more vulnerable. And, you know, talking about the challenges, you're talking about increased volume and velocity of attack. You know, now we have more attack than before. Now you have more targeted and convincing phishing campaigns that are AI generated in nature. Now it is even harder. It's harder now to trace ransomware attack as a service actors. So then need for AI-powered defense tools to match attackers is also on the rise now, because you want to live up, you know, when somebody that is pursuing you is this close to you, you know, you want to run farther and farther from that person. So now it has put more stress on us in the industry, because since they are using AI in most cases to generate this attack, we also want to defend using AI-powered tools. I hope that answers the question.
Wow. Yeah, that's fantastic. We have a lot, like I said, I have a lot of questions because your presentation was very insightful and so many questions came. I have one more question to ask you from the audience, and we'll be glad to hear your response. Among common attack vectors like DDoS and zero-day exploits, which do you see as the most prevalent or dangerous today, and what defensive strategies are most effective against them? Do you get the question?
Oh, it's simple. Phishing. Everybody, please just if you don't take anything from my presentation, just take it. That phishing remains the most prevalent, the most successful attack vector. And I mean, research shows, or data, statistics shows that it is responsible for over 90% of breaches we have today. And I mean, this makes sense. You know, this can happen because phishing is low cost, the reward is high, and it is often, you know, the starting point for other bigger attacks. Like take, for instance, if you have a phish email, somebody, and your email is compromised, you know, it exposes the content of that email to your attacker. So if the email has financial transaction and all, boom, that person is just there, you know, wrecking havoc. Now, talking about defensive, effective defenses that we can employ, we cannot overemphasize awareness. I'm glad that Samson mentioned this in his presentation. The number one thing an organization, an individual, a government can do to help themselves is security awareness training. And when you do security awareness training, gone are the days we tell people, see, you can be phished, be careful, so that you don't click on unsolicited attachment, you don't click on unsolicited link. That's okay, but please, let's add phishing simulations to it. Because when you simulate things, it helps users to know, oh, these are possibilities, this is how it can happen, rather than just stories, and, you know, just like that. So it's good to do phishing simulation. Secondly, I want to mention your multi-factor authentication. Yes, I can fall victim of a phishing attack, but if the platform or the account my attacker is targeting as multi-factor authentication enabled, then that person needs my consent to make the phishing work. You see what we are talking about here? So we say, yes, an attack can be launched and it can be successful. So, but you make it work by whatever you do. And what you want to do now is when you activate multi-factor authentication, you know, on those accounts, then you make it more difficult because that person needs another form of authentication other than what he already has. And if he does not have that, then you just, you know, truncate that attack. Another thing I want to mention, most especially this one for phishing emails, is to filter the emails. Email filtering and sandboxing tools will be very good. So that by the time these, because most of the attacks have patterns, okay? So when you use email filtering and sandboxing tools, so when they are coming into your email, it will not even get into your email at all. It will be filtered. It's either you don't have it at all or you have it in your spam folder. Then we can employ AI-driven threat detection. When you use AI-driven threat detection, the purpose is to identify anomalies in a user's behavior. So when a user, I mean, these AI-driven detectors, they know how a user operates. Probably they know, oh, when I come to work, I work Mondays to Friday, I resume 8 a.m., I go on lunch, I go for lunch by 12 noon, I resume back 1 p.m., and I close work at 5, and I don't do anything again. And all of a sudden, the AI tool notices that there is somebody that is attempting to access my account by 8 p.m. That becomes an anomaly. So the AI will be like, no, this is not normal. Then it can trigger an alarm or even outright block the access to that account or to that resource. So these are measures that can be taken. Of course, we cannot exhaust them at this just one event. So, but like I said earlier, security awareness training, multi-factor authentication, activation, email filtering and sandboxing tools usage, AI-driven tools detection, usage. So we don't want to be stingy. And that's what happens to us sometimes for organizations. We know this thing is good for us, but we feel, oh, it's too expensive. Oh, which one is better, to prevent or to rectify? Often prevention, they say, is better than cure. I don't know if that answers the question satisfactorily. Frank, in case you are talking, your mic is muted. We can't hear you. Okay, if we cannot have Frank, we have to move on because our time is like ticking. I told you that 2 hours is not enough for us. I don't know, Frank, in case there are other questions, maybe we will bring them up after. And so, okay, are you there now?
Yes, yeah, because of time. So, like I said, you're also the co-host. For time purpose, would you like to go?
Okay, yeah. Yes, we will move on now to our next speaker, Mr. Adewale Mustapha. It's good. Mr. Adewale has told us about who he is. If you want to tell us again, that's fine. So, but he will be talking with us on best practices for incident response planning and execution. Incident response planning and execution. I yield the mic to you now, Mr. Adewale. Thank you very much for coming.
All right, thank you very much for having me, everyone. I would like to confirm that my voice is audible enough to proceed. Please confirm when I proceed. All right, thank you very much. So today I will be taking you through best practices for incident response planning and execution. The major focus is planning and execution. And this, I will try my best to make it as illustrative as possible from experience. I'm working towards how we can master incident response and execution from the concept of the beginning. You know, the target today is the aftermath of cyber attack. While the aftermath is very important, but we cannot emphasize the why, the reason, what we should have done before the time so that we can proactively protect the system. We are not interested in the incident as much as we are interested in averting them. So I am focusing on preparation, acting, responding, and learning. In the industry, it can never be emphasized that we have to keep learning. So why cybersecurity? Why cybersecurity? Okay, so who am I? First, you've met me already, so I won't be speaking much about who I am. I believe in security digital work through hands-on training, cybersecurity mentoring, and innovation involving emerging technology. You can see me today talking about blockchain, you can see me today talking about AI, you can see me today talking about extended reality. All I think about is security. I have the privilege to work in security operations center, security engineering, have practiced blue teaming, purple teaming, and I have to. Why? Because my focus is how we can proactively defend. I love turning ideas into global solutions. So I go to events, think with friends, try to bring up solutions, especially as it surrounds cybersecurity. So currently I'm working on DevSecOps, integrating security into the development lifecycle, and you can tell, rest assured, I will do much more. Provided we are going to secure the world through cybersecurity, I am here. That's what I live for, and of course, so before we go into what cyber incident response, why incident response? If we are able to effectively define our why, we may be able to address the core, right? So why incident response? We want to prevent the attack. It doesn't matter how many times we want to meet the compliance, which is very effective. It doesn't matter how many times we want to maintain the operation to continue to work. It's very effective. We want to reduce the impact, very effective. We want to make sure we do not want the incident to take effect. Unfortunately, in the industry from experience, I have seen that cyber attackers are usually 2 steps ahead. 2 steps ahead. In my experience in Security Business Center, we have a code at the entry of the SOC. You have to read it every time you are entering the SOC. It reads, attackers are never asleep. So you are meant to fill in the blank. Attackers are never asleep. Neither are we. We are not sleeping. And to not sleep means we have to keep learning. We have to understand the tactics, the techniques, the procedure. We have to learn the tool. We have to go as far as the dark web. But we have to see the open web. We have to relate with the developers, and we have to make sure that the 24/7 shift does not break. We have to make sure we prevent the attack. So this is why we are integrating incident. This is why there is incident response, to respond to the attack, not just to respond late, but to contain it, immediately respond it. Unfortunately, incident has never stopped. And in as much as we have the adoption of AI, the adoption of blockchain, the adoption of this emerging threat, security will continue to be needed. This is why you and I comes in, and that's why we are discussing the aftermath of security incident. What it is. What is an incident? What is incident response? Is it a methodological approach to handling security incident? Yes, that's right. Is it about threat management, addressing ransomware, all form of ware? You see a Trojan, you see a bot, you see a hardware, whatever the ware, as long as it's malware, how do we mitigate it? How do we prevent it? What intelligence do we have in place to address this thing whenever it's taking effect? Or is it swift recovery that you believe it is? Is it the method you aim to minimize the impact when it happens? Whatever you believe it is, it is. It is. You are very right. What if we combine the structural approach, the threat management approach, the swift recovery approach into a form of preparation to make ourselves ready? Ready. That is one thing I don't want you to forget about this very conversation. The readiness. The readiness is the core. Is the core. So I'm going to proceed. Where do we perform incident response? A lot of areas we perform incident response. From experience, whenever incident happen, quickly alert the forensic investigator, pick up with the incident responder. We started doing isolation. We started containing the threat. We started finding the incident manager, the communicating manager. We started finding a way to curb it. We want to know how long the threat has been able to leverage in the system. We want to know who is responsible, what weakling, what exploit was taken. We want to do everything possible, but yet there are instances where we must practice this effectively. So before incident, we usually leverage on simulation environment, the boxes, we call them the boxes. So these are monitoring platforms, right? We can isolate a particular environment for forensic investigation, but not just so. The platform that you can do incident response, you can do it on your same security information and event management system, Splunk, Sentinel, and the like, right? ArcSight, QRadar, and the like. Or you can do it on your management detection response, like EDR, XDR, NDR, CrowdStrike, as many as you like, Carbon Black, Netwitness, and half a decade ago, we've been leveraging on making use of AI to detect attack, right? So that we can aid us in incident response. Eventually, we realized that the noises that we got from the AI tool was so much more than the threat itself. So we had to continually refine the use cases in the scene, in the EDR, in the XDR, just so we can reduce the level of the noise to the point that we can spot
spot what exactly we had means that escalated to the incident, which is usually a weakling effect, effect. So you can also monitor incident response through the network architecture, the infrastructure. It depends on how you set up your environment, whether you make use of network detection response tools, your firewalls, or even if you have to make use of your routers, your switches, provided you are able to contain them in an environment where you can test and simulate in a very secluded environment to be able to detect when an attack is taking effect. And also in cloud environments. So yes, cloud is never immune to attack. If it's not DDoS, it is that. And we currently have the adoption of AI, right? We have been looking towards some teams working on using AI to detect DDoS attack. We call it anti-DDoS. So yes, we have security solutions that are monitoring this. Nevertheless, in the industry, we still need to work more in this area. So this is also area where we can practice incident response. And another area is the analysis environment. This is where I love it. I love it in this environment. I love the sandboxes. Oh my, if you have been with me, Madam Olabimpe can tell you for a fact, I can simulate up to different environment, Windows, Linux, MacOS. I just want to have an environment where we can practice because we just don't know when the incident is going to hit us. So you have to design a secluded environment. I completely isolate the network where you do your forensic investigation. You can now make use of any tools of your interest, provided you have access to them. Most tools that we have are open sources, but yes, some are proprietary. If you have capacity for obtaining any of them, they will aid you very well and they will be effective for your forensic investigation. So yeah, you can make it of any tool of your interest. I will not be mentioning, right? And next thing I want to talk about is when should we perform incident response? I like addressing things as to why, what, where, how, who, and when should we. You see, when is a question of what many industry practitioners, professionals have seen as open detection. You see, it's very effective that we should perform incident response upon detection. And it's also effective that we should perform incident response after system alert, because that's exactly when it is called incidents. Or when the report hits us, that we got the report, whether it's through social media or whether it's through the official intelligence or even our subscribe intelligence platform, or in any way you call it, or just to be proactive exercise. There is one part in the industry that is not as emphasized as I want, which is the part I'm going to touch. This is the part. This part is where we have preparation, the measure of readiness. Look, as much as we want to proactively respond to the attack when it hit us, we want to be prepared enough to proactively hold it by its hand and have it isolated immediately when it hit us. Preparation is learning. Preparation is simulation. Whether we have our red team and the blue team, testing and testing. I've been able to practice the blue team and the red team. So I practice purple team when it case be. So in testing the network access control systems and the segmentation, eventually what my blue teamers will say is secured will only need me to go there without pre-information. Yes, I'm authorized to test the system. And before I go for my testing, I will have to inform, hello guys, are you there? Let's begin the simulation. In the period that I intentionally decided to choose a spot without saying that is where I'm going to do my test after obtaining authority, that is the day we expect to see something that we haven't really addressed. We haven't prepared enough. We have to prepare. We have to test. We have to simulate. We have to keep the ground running every time. We have to be so ready that when we are hit, we can barely face it. So this part is very core. Preparation. When should we perform incident response? Upon detection, after detection, the user reform. But what is more effective is to prepare for it before it hits us. And our particular issue, you and I, we are professional practitioners, security analysts, forensic investigator, expert, threat hunters, SOC engineers, and legal and compliance, into the extent of the Lego. If you watch movies, You will see performance of forensic investigation in the attack scene. Same way we have in cybersecurity. We adopted the term reconnaissance from the military. If you watch attack scenario where we have reconnaissance to initial access to execution, persistency, defense evasion. If you follow the MITRE attack framework, you will see most of this. So I usually use MITRE a lot for forensic investigation and incident response, as well as tracking the tactics, techniques, and procedure, and the tools that the attacker used to compromise system. It is from that incident, from that environment, that I realized that most people can perform it. Analysts can perform it, and experts, forensic investigators can perform it, provided you know the tactics, the techniques that the advanced persistent threat actors are using, the cyber criminals are using, the nation sponsors are using, provided you can learn what they do, how they do it, when they do it, and who is responsible, and the logic in their grouping. Be able to spot it on time. In the industry, we've been able to decide an area where when we see a tool, we can quickly relate it to a group who has made use of the tactics like that. That helps us to spot the advanced persistent threat actors. And so, yes, these are the people that can practice it. Professionals like you and I can do incident response time to time. So I will try to manage time. How do you perform it? I will not speak so much about this, but if I want you to look at something on my left side. You need to detect and identify. You need to contain the incident. You need to eradicate the root cause. You need to recover the system, and you need to document it. As much as this is effective, we cannot overemphasize the right side of the slide, where I adopted something from the example, where we have preparation, identification, containment, eradication, recovery, lesson. They are both speaking the same thing, only with one plus. The second slide, the second picture showed an arrow that started from preparation and returned back to preparation. And I love that, because in as much as we identify, we contain, we eradicate, we recover, and we learn our lesson, though the hard way, we want to be prepared again. We want to be ready again, so that we're not just containing, having lost a lot of money, reputational damage, integrity problem. We want to make sure that if it's coming, we hold it by tail or by hook or by head. Just make sure that we perform it effectively. So when you want to perform your incident response, do so much, enough time. Take your time on preparation. It's just like reconnaissance, the beginning of every form of attack, whether it's active reconnaissance or passive reconnaissance. We want to do every bit. We want to do fine-grained preparation. We want to make sure that we lose no guard. And then we will be able to identify the attack. We will be able to contain it on time. We'll be able to eradicate it as much as possible. We cover the system and put it into monitoring and operation again. And then we can table our lesson and see how we bring this back into the preparation so we prepare better. I will try and round up as fast as I can. So what are the classification of framework, the classification of incident response? This is normal in the industry. If it's not critical, it's high. If it's not medium, it's low. But the first thing you and I want to identify when we see an incident is to first classify. By classification, we know what to do to address it. We know who to communicate with. We know what to communicate with. We know what hierarchy of escalation we should follow. If you are able to classify critical, see, this is critical. You can follow the playbook you want to use to quickly know, okay, this is how we resolve critical event. This is who we call during critical event. This is when we do critical incident response. So that is very key. I want to build the resilience in incident response plan, which is one of the core reasons why we are here today. We want to build resilience. We want to make sure the best practice in the planning and execution is effective. So we want to build resilience. First, we need to define the threat scenario. We want to identify it, relate it from experience with the attackers that we have learned. Is this coming from EPT1 or EPT10 or EPT9? By experience, is it from China or is it from Africa? Is it new? Is it 0 day? Whichever one it is, we want to be able to analyze it effectively and define it. Then we find responsible delegates and ministers who has some form of expertise in an area that can help us to address the particular area. So we assign the responsibility to the team member, and then we prepare a detailed process, a form of a playbook, an escalation matrix that we follow into missing no gap to make sure that we are able to get this thing done, right? And then the next thing is we test the plan regularly through simulation in sandboxes. And then we utilize advanced tools. Yes, in testing, I have learned to use tools. If you see my lab, learning to use the tools, having understand the concept is the pain. Once you understand the use of the tools that the attackers use, you can tell what is to expect if you see something that is related to that. For that, we'll be able to address this on time. I'm trying to work with my time. Also, is the last option is to review and learn. Do not forget this last word, learn. We have to keep learning to stay relevant. We have to keep learning to stay organized. We have to keep learning to stay ready. We have to keep learning to stay prepared. So that is how we build a resilient incident response. And I will move to a bit more details on how you and I can build an effective incident response. And first is, this cannot be overemphasized, that Atos did justice to training awareness. But here is, I want to be specific, train the team. Train the team. Train them so good that you are not scared. Nobody is too good to learn in this industry. It is no longer how much you know, but how first you learn to apply. We're not competing, we're just solving the problem. Train the incident responders, train the forensic investigators, train the hunters, expose them, do the build. I think I love one thing about the industry in this current country. The industry is adopting the solution that can be used to mitigate the threat, and they are buying big into it. I must say that we have institutions, especially the financial institution and the fintech, they are really paying the bill, making sure that their experts are being trained. And goodness, I must give that comment to the regulators who always look into their advantages, trying to make sure that even the managers are learning. Everyone is learning. Train the incident responder, train the employees, train the team. Next is identify the key stakeholders, assigning the role and define the key stakeholders. This is very important. We need to manage the communication control. We need to manage the incident manager. We need to ensure that the manager is able to relate with the technical manager. And we need to make sure the technical manager is able to be in line with the communication manager. So each knows what to do when we have meeting. An incident manager lead the whole meeting. Technical manager is the one you want to speak to when you want to talk about technicality. And when you want to talk about communication, you want to know who is responsible on our behalf to communicate on the social media, because this is a lot of reputation at stake. If anybody should speak on the behalf of the organization, in a way it's not supposed, the reputation could be damaged. For that reason, we want to manage the communication manager, and we want to continually reinforce the importance of this through learning, through training everyone. And as I round up, a tabletop experience is very, very important. Please make sure you run the tabletop experience, a non-biased, open-minded tabletop where everybody is able to bring up their idea, a role that the red teamers and the blue teamers play by simulating a scenario, having taken the response, the feedback from every of the experiences they have gathered during the incident response. And we can now proceed. Lastly, I want to say thank you. I hope I've been able to manage the time. I hope I have not wasted your time. I have learned one or two things, and I want to appreciate you for your undivided attention. Should you be willing to reach me in any form, that's my LinkedIn account, and that's my portfolio, and that's my email address. Thank you for having me, and it's been a great time with you. Thank you. If there's any question, I'm open so that we can manage it. Thank you.
Woo. If I weren't a SOC analyst myself, I would have said you are inciting me to jealousy, but I can relate with what you were saying. Thank you. Thank you. And as I was relating, our audiences were bringing questions. I think what we will do is maybe we go on YouTube and answer some of these questions. But a quick one, and if you can do this in 30 seconds, because this listener has been like, I must answer, this question must be answered. Now,
right.
Please, Mr. Adewale, what are the key components of a scalable and repeatable incident response framework, incident response framework, and how can organizations ensure it adapts to evolving cyber threats? If we can just do this in like 30 seconds, please.
I wouldn't mind if you take the question again, but can you take it again so that I can understand it more?
Okay. What are the key components of a scalable and repeatable incident response framework? Key components of a scalable and repeatable incident response, and how can organizations ensure it adapts to evolving cyber threats? Did you get that?
I get that question. That's a fantastic question. And I will rush straight to this very slide in how we build resilience. If you take this pattern, you will build a scalable incident response plan. And if you see this very slide, where I made a lot of emphasis on preparation, this is another one that can help you to scale, to mitigate, to remediate, and put this back. Thank you very much. I hope I'll be able to answer.
Awesome. So I just hope the person that asked that question, please just go ahead, make a screenshot of what you have on the screen. It's good to still have that slide. Make a screenshot of it, and please try and investigate more, try and research more much later. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you, Mr. Adewale. The last but not the least of our speakers will be introduced by Frank. Frank, can you still hear me?
Yes, I'm with you. Thank you.
Please go ahead, please. Our
Yeah,
time
Mr. Yes. The last speaker for today is Mr. Mawuko Kudzo Kpatah. He'll be speaking on the digital evidence collection and chain of custody, looking at a legal standard for collecting and preserving digital evidence, prioritizing source of evidence, memory logs, network traffic, endpoints, avoiding contamination of forensic evidence, etc. Mr. Mawuko, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here this morning. It's morning in Ghana, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our listeners and those that are watching us live. Yeah, so because of time, let me just quickly zoom into digital evidence and collection and chain of custody. I believe my screen is very visible. Yeah, fantastic. Now, so digital evidence collection and chain of custody, they are very important activities in the forensic examination. And these are very important and very critical to document these evidences that are found during examination in a chain of custody document. So we'll get into it. But first of all, I would like to talk briefly about digital evidence. Now, the use of computer systems and digital technology is rapidly expanding. So we have devices, mobile phone, tablets, smartwatches, computers, and the likes are used to process digital data. Now we need to understand that computer doesn't really forget things that it's some things that are processed. It can keep it in memory for a very long time if they are not those temporal information. So assuming a crime has been committed, a cyber crime, of course, or a computer crime. These are crimes that are not real world crimes like murder. but crimes that are mostly carried on the internet, or that they use digital devices to perpetrate these crimes. Now we need to get into those devices and networks to look for evidence. Now, evidence, they are specific information that are leading to a crime that can give us a clue on a crime. When the attack happened, probably it lays a trace to whoever that committed or perpetrated that crime. So evidence is very important, where we can say that it is a testimony, but it has some kind of rules guarding it, how it should be very admissible in court, and the tools that we need to use in the in carrying out of forensic investigations, and also the team of professionals that are involved. They need to document their findings with timestamp, so that because forensic evidence gathering is not done by one person, so whoever that is involved has to document whatever, what, when, and why of the evidence found. So quickly, let me just get into it. Because of time, this is my missing statement. I've said it already. I'm a cybersecurity professional, very passionate about cybersecurity education, awareness training, and skill development. And currently, we are doing that in Ghana, training the youth, even beyond the borders of Ghana, extending to the whole world. And we are very passionate about that. So as I say, digital evidence, let's bring this so that we can all understand it in the real world. Let's say a crime is committed, a murder has been committed. Now, we need professionals from the securities, especially the police service, to come and carry out an investigation at the site where the crime has been committed. Now, my interest is to know that anytime a crime is committed, the criminal always leave a trace on the crime scene. All right. So maybe someone goes and strangles somebody or shoots somebody with a gun. Okay, the bullet of that gun can be extracted from the body of the deceased, and investigations will be performed on that bullet to know the type of bullet, the manufacturer, and probably who bought that bullet. And they could trace all this and then get the person that committed the murder. So it's the same thing when it comes to computer devices and computer networks. All right, we can trace crimes using artifacts to get evidences that are admissible in court, to prove to the court that this is what happened. And these are very critical things to do. So there are legal frameworks and court admissible tools that we need to use. If you don't do it right, a crime is truly committed. The criminal will go to the court of law, but this person will not be charged guilty because the evidence has not proved enough that this crime has been carried out. All right, so let's look at some of the legal standards for collecting and preserving digital evidence. Now we have legal standards that are globally used, and we have jurisdiction-wise as well. All right, so when we have Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, okay, it's one of these computer crime acts from the US that can be used globally and or used within the borders of the United States. Then we have the GDRP, which is General Data Protection Regulation Act, that is confining to EU. So if, let's say, a crime has been committed in any country in the EU, they can use this GDRP framework to actually investigate and prosecute. Then when we can look at local privacy laws. So the local privacy law stated here, they are those from Ghana. We have the Cybersecurity Act, Article 1038, and we have Data Protection Act 2012, and so on. So all this one ensure that we go according to the frameworks and the policies in carrying out digital evidence examination. Then we also have the Federal Rules of Evidence, also from the US, which is global, and this defines the authenticity, reliability, and integrity requirement of an evidence that should or must be admissible in court. All right, so we have also forensic sound tools. We have a lot of tools, but some are not approved by the court of law. There are some tools when you use it, it will render your forensic report inadmissible. So a tool like FTK Imager from Access Data, NCASE, Autopsy, and Celebrite, I will say they are court recommended ones that we could use during forensic examination. All right. So now let's talk about prioritizing sources of evidence. Now we can gather or examine or fetch, okay, or acquire evidence from a whole lot of sources. Now these sources, some of them are temporal, and the moment these sources go off, then data will be lost. All right, so we turn these data that they are the most volatile ones. Okay, for instance, when a computer system is on, data that is saved in the computer RAM, they are temporal. So we say that it is volatile, meaning when power is out of the system, those data will be cleared from memory and they cannot be accessed again. So these are high priority data when forensic teams move to crime sites. All right, and there is a computer that they need to collect evidence from. You don't need to shut down these computers. First of all, you need to fetch volatile data that are stored in caches. Now, within the processor, there are caches and registers that normally save frequently accessed instructions or data fetched by the CPU into memory or fetched into itself in those caches. When the machine is off, the processor will clear all those data from memory or from caches, so you will not be able to fetch them again. So these are termed volatile data, and they are the highest priority in when we are fetching or collecting evidence. So we can use tools like volatility, recall, magnet RAM capture. They can capture data live. So even if there is maybe a malicious payload in memory or malicious keys that are placed by this criminal or on those devices, they could be captured live so that it will be sent to the forensic lab to be examined. And also we have network traffics. All right, you can capture live network traffic. Maybe you are in an environment and there is an attacker on that network. Okay, so in real time, we could use packet capture, the traffic that is actually being transmitted from between networks. All right, you'll be able, most especially on the network where the attacker is also situated. So you use tools like very powerful tools like Wireshark, TCP dump, and T-Shark and Zik. You can use this one to capture live traffic as it is happening. Once the network is down, this traffic cannot be gotten access to. So you need to capture them as they are live, then save them, and you can perform your examination or analysis on them to identify evidence. So we have system logs as well. System logs, we know these devices keeps these devices keep logs, okay, in their storage, where analysts could fetch these logs, or other tools like Splunk, Elasticsearch, and Windows Event viewers could access these logs and analyze them. So we have event logs, authentication logs, application logs. All these could be fetched from a server. So if a server is compromised, this server records everything with timestamps, so, and save in logs. So if something happens, if something ill happens, the server logs could be visited, and these data that are in the log can be fetched and analyzed. So we have a low priority data. These are found on endpoint, let's say in hard drives, on SSD drives, and embedded multimedia cards, mostly the storage of mobile phones and tablets. They are the embedded multimedia cards. They are embedded on the board of the phone, or even some computers have storage that they are not removable, like hard drive and SSDs. Okay, they are embedded. We could access all these endpoint storages and extract data from them, and SD card as well. So these endpoint storages keep track or save file system, registry, and deleted files. Most of us over here, we think when we delete the file and we go and empty the recycle bin, meaning we are sure and very confident that the data is gone out of our machine. But technically, this deleted data can be found using forensic tools and techniques to extract these files from storage. So we can use, as I said, FTK imager. We can use it to clone, make an image of the storage. We can use DD, data duplicator. It's a Linux command that can be used to clone an image of a storage. Then Formus, Capel, and Guy Major, they are all very good and court-approved applications or tools that can be used for forensic examination. Then we have cloud and remote storage as well. We have tools that are also legally approved to work on clouds. All right, so let's talk about chain of custody document. Now, I said earlier on that in forensic examination, we have a lot of people or experts that at every level, they do something in order to acquire evidence. Now, if there are some team of professionals go to, let's say, a crime scene, okay, they need to document their findings and put timestamps. Okay, first of all, they need to put their names and then what they have found, date and time of relevant information that could lead to maybe final evidence that will be admissible in court. So the court needs to know about all these people and the various things they have done on this data or digital evidence or artifact. So we can also use seal and secure evidence. Okay, we use write blockers, and I'll talk about write blockers when we go ahead. So signatures and timestamp, and also some of these devices, we need to put them in Faraday bags or put them in encrypted containers. We need to protect them so that no one will come and destroy evidence or even introduce data into that storage of the device that is has been seized or evidence taken from. So let's look at how to avoid contamination of forensic evidence. Now, never work on original data. Let's say a phone has been seized. You don't analyze the phone, the data on the phone. Okay, during these processes, you could do something that could destroy the evidence. Okay, things could go wrong in this examination. So it is advisable and recommended that these devices are cloned by the tools that I mentioned earlier on, or we look at earlier on, like the FTK imager, the DD tool could be used to make a copy of the device. And you can leave the device, and maybe within or during examination, if that particular image that you have copied, okay, or cloned from the original one, you could fall on a copy. So it is advisable that when you make a copy, you make a copy of that copy, so that the one that you are working on or you are going to work on, when it is corrupted, you come back to that copy and always copy and look for your evidence. And then we have write blockers. Now, write blockers are very important to use, because there are sometimes we connect these devices, crime devices, to other devices. And these devices that we have connected these crime devices to, they could introduce new data into these storages or these crime devices. So we use write blockers, so that these write blockers will not be able to will prevent foreign or data that will be copied accidentally into storage of this. And we need to also verify hash. It is always for integrity's sake, we need to hash our forensic evidence, so that we'll maintain the integrity, so that when we want to see if this data is modified or not, is the hash that we have created on this artifact that will tell us that this has not been tampered with, or this has been tampered with. So let's continue to look at common pitfalls. Rebooting a live system. When the system is live and you reboot it, as I said, you lose data, very important data that could give us a very solid evidence on storage. So best practices, we need to follow checklists and so on. All right, so that is it. In conclusion, evidence and maintaining a secure chain of custody is very important in forensic examination. Thank you very much for attention.
Wow, that was wonderful, very insightful and resourceful. We have just 3 minutes left. Do you have any question or any closing remark? Just briefly.
Yeah, it's been an amazing. It's been an amazing session. It's a pleasure to do this, at least for the first time. I mean, it's quite an experience for me, even though a public speaker. I mean, this feels different. You know, when you're talking and you want to like talk. So when you have that time constraint, so it's been nice, and I really have personally benefited from all we have spoken about, right from the first speaker, Arthur, talking about the aftermath of cyber attack, what's business, technical, and legal impacts we can think about, talking about understanding modern cyber attacks, threats, tools, and techniques, going to Mr. Adewale's part, best practices for incident response, planning and execution, and lastly, the digital evidence collection and chain of custody. I mean, I'm sure we've been able to impact our listeners. It will be a pleasure to be here once again, come next year, and looking at cybersecurity from another dimension. So like I said earlier on, my name remains Olabimpe Adeloro, a cybersecurity and data protection specialist, an author, and a CEO. So it will be nice to have you. Thank you very much, Frank. It's been nice doing this with you.